traders, let's get into action, a recap. Let's take a look at the high time frames for ES and NQ. So we got NQ. These 2 days here, specifically this green range day was just slightly bearish. I would say like 55-60 percent bearish, but the fact that it couldn't get really up past the 50% is what brings that bearishness in. But that it held the low, did not break it, and put in this range day is what's bullish about it. You can see other examples of this type of thing. Here, though, these did break the low, right? And it led to more bearishness. You can see an example of this is kind of like this is the follow-through day. This isn't so much. These 2 days here, rangy, but they close below the halfway point, so that makes them more bearish. So that daily candle was somewhat bearish. And now, though, we had 2 range days, and now we've gone and closed above the halfway point. This could easily get some continuation to the upside. We are hitting the daily Bollinger on ES and on SPY as well. So there is that. I really wanted to see this 161 on the Qs and these 161s on NQ hit before like shoving out for any further. But this could be a quick swap turnaround. Election day looks like a head and shoulders on the daily to then start holding it and then do that almighty fake out pattern for the head and shoulders, something like that. If we look at the 30-minute, I see entered a fresh buy signal today. So we can go ahead and anchor the true low, which then gets a continuation, which then basically winds you up with these 2 here. You see the anchor here might cross over that most recent top down. And now that we are below these greens and these blues, which were previous buy signals, now that we are under them, they were going to be resistance, but we see that the market has actually done the favor of popping straight up over them in the post-market session. So, that is pretty bullish. How to not deal with a support or resistance is just gap right over under it, right? Like here, these set of greens and blue anchors here, we're in fact going to be some reasonable support. So instead, just gap right under it, come down, back test that high, typical anchor things, and now come back to back test this or test it, and now from below, and now we just gap right over it. So there's that. That's pretty bullish. If I look at the SPY, you can go ahead and check this out for yourself. But when the 5 daily SMA crosses under the 20, we usually will test the bottom Bollinger on the daily. And then because, markets go up, once you retest the bottom, usually you're in for at least a 20 retest. The 20 is basically the mid of the Bollinger. Usually in for a 20 retest, and then of course a top of the Bollinger test. Um, just because they usually go up, not like the day after or anything like that. Um, I mean, it could be, but um, so point is, I think and now we are already slapping up above that 20. The Q's already did that, right? It hit the Bollinger, retested the 20 here, and now are we in line for a gap up? Do I have yeah, I guess it's this. Mm, yeah, so we might be in line for a gap up. Um, Depends. I mean, we're only right here, but we could gap the gap if they really want to not deal with any of this resistance here. Because we did get this gap tag now, so we could just leave it again, or since we already got the tag and the candle stopped dead in its tracks right there, we could start tomorrow right on the gap and then slam through it, or reject it, But this looks pretty bullish to me. Um, so all right, we got that. Let's take a look at the 1 hour. These trend lines still having a little bit of effect. Dump the trend line, hit the 100, hit the low of that wash day, popped over the trend line, back tested it for support, and then moved up to sequentially our daily SMAs. And now I would say this trend line is still pretty much the only one I'm watching, and in effect, I should extend these so I can kind of get like a decent little mid of the trend. Yep, I don't really look at VIX too much, but I don't know. I mean, I know that this is high for VIX, but I mean, VIX is made to go down, right? So I don't even know. And then lastly, if I look at the Mac dashboard, this is also looking pretty bullish. The way I use this is the daily here, the daily at the top left, and the 4 hour, then the 2 hour, and then we got the 1, the 30, and the 15. So then they move sequentially, a little bit fractally. So the daily has been red for quite a while, decreasing, and this could just be the one green in between a bunch of red, and then it goes back to red or whatever. But we already got this green here, like a little heads up. So for example, right, you get one cycle green, and then the green starts again. You get one cycle green, and then the green starts again. One cycle red, and then when the red starts again, it actually continues. But it doesn't have to be that, right? It could get a little green one, then one green, two green, then the green wave actually starts. So we're going to have to see, but I kind of like that. The 4 hour spreading to the upside, the 2 hour spreading to the upside could curl, and then the 1 hour kind of looking like it might curl, but it could just fake that out and get ripped back up if it really wants to. Whichever one of these needs to retest to zero. But yeah, and then I mean the Mac dashboard can be pretty helpful. Like here, like where my cursor is. Actually, where my cursor is on all charts is around where we were at 9, and you can see the the 15 is bearish because it's in a cross down, and the 30-minute looks like it could cross down, but the rest of them are pretty good. Namely, if I so we were at around right here. So this is the 1 hour. By the time the 8 o'clock candle closes, you get this red. You get this downslope, which looks like it could cross down. But then as soon as the 9 o'clock candle closes, it's like, yeah, this is definitely gonna keep trending up. because you can see that the 1 hour, 2 hour, and the 4 hour spread pretty good to the upside. Let alone the fact that the 30 and the 15 shot back up. Come to think of it, I should probably extend I don't know if it's 30, 15, 1, 2, 4. I'm only doubling the time frame. Sometimes it's confusing. But yeah, you can see how that works out. And then right now, it still looks like the 4 and the 2 could spread. We get a potential 30 cross and some downside on the 15. But let's take a look at that 15 actually. Yeah, so this is what I would normally call indicator reset. To me, this is kind of more strength for the bullishness, and that price is grinding up, making higher lows and higher highs while the RSI is while the MACD is grinding down. So then once this MACD actually finds the strength to flip back up, price action just goes even harder. And I love that setup. I haven't seen it actually. I saw it a lot a couple months ago, but I haven't seen it recently. So all right, yeah, we got the anchors in place. Covered the trend line on the hourly. Covered the daily SMA. Slight bias. And the MAC dashboard, bias, generally looking towards, I think, things long. Closing, we didn't close above the 20, but we tapped it on both NQ and ES, and we of course closed over the 5s. But just under the 10s. On the equities, we're above the 10 though. So, yeah, all in all, looking bullish for sure. But we're gonna need some cooperation. So, all right, that does it. And then keep a note on the indicator reset. If we actually get across here and start closing above the highs, we could just keep going like all night. All right, that does it. Best of luck, traders, but y'all don't need luck.